The story of the Vikings is usually told with images of long ships, warriors, and raids. But this is only half of who they were. Behind their violent reputation was a quieter world of traders, negotiators, and financial thinkers who built one of the most surprising underground systems in history. Modern historians now believe that Viking traders created a kind of black market banking network that stretched from the cold harbors of Scandinavia to the rich markets of the Middle East. This network helped them move wealth in secret, avoid taxes from kings, and protect their silver from thieves. Archaeological discoveries in places like Birka in Sweden, Hedeby in Germany, and Dublin in Ireland reveal that Vikings were not only fighters. They were early financial engineers who understood how to control trade, risk, and credit in a world before formal banks existed. To understand how this secret network worked, we must begin with silver. For Vikings, silver was not just money. It was trust, power, and security. They used something called hack silver, which were pieces of bracelets, rings, or bars that were cut into smaller chunks. These pieces were valued by weight, not by shape or design. Archaeologists have found thousands of such pieces in Viking trading towns. Hack silver had a huge advantage. Because it had no king's stamp or official record, it could move across borders without being traced. Traders could melt it, break it, hide it, or carry it in clothing or bags. This made silver the perfect foundation for a financial system that existed outside government control. Some historians even call it one of the earliest forms of decentralized currency, because anyone who knew the weight of silver could use it in trade. But a black market financial system needs more than silver. It needs trust, agreements, and a way to record transactions. Vikings solved this problem in a brilliant and simple way. They used wooden sticks called tally sticks. A tally stick was carved with special marks or runes that recorded a deal. Then the stick was split in half. One half went to the buyer, the other to the seller. When the two pieces matched again, the debt or agreement was confirmed. This meant traders did not need to carry large amounts of silver on dangerous journeys. A Viking merchant could buy goods in Denmark using a tally stick and settle the actual silver payment later in Dublin or York. This system worked almost like modern credit, and some historians compare it to early versions of bank checks. What makes it even more interesting is that similar systems appear in later medieval Europe, but the Vikings were using it in the 800s and 900s. Another major reason the Viking banking network grew so strong was geography. Vikings controlled river routes and sea paths that no one else mastered. From Sweden, they traveled down the Volga and Dnieper rivers deep into Eastern Europe. This brought them into contact with the markets of the Byzantine Empire and the Abbasid Caliphate. Both of these regions were booming centers of wealth, knowledge, and trade. When archaeologists found more than 100,000 pieces of Islamic silver coins called dirhams in Viking territories, it shocked historians. The Vikings were not simply raiding the East, they were trading with it. They exchanged furs, slaves, honey, and iron for silver coins, spices, glassware, and textiles. But instead of spending the coins as coins, they melted them down into hack silver to fit their unregulated system. This mixing of official money with unofficial practices created one of the most flexible economic networks of the early Middle Ages. Viking trade towns were the heart of this underground economy. Places like Hedeby, Ribe, Birka, York, and Dublin acted like financial hubs. They had markets, workshops, warehouses, and even guards who protected merchants. Archaeologists found foreign weights, balance scales, and cut silver in almost every one of these towns. This shows that Viking traders used standardized tools to measure silver with remarkable accuracy. Some weights matched systems used in the Islamic world, showing international connections. These towns also acted as safe zones where deals were made, debts were settled, and tally sticks were exchanged. Even though these places looked rough on the outside, they were advanced financial centers that moved massive amounts of wealth without a central government or official banking system. The Viking black market banking system also included something that looks very similar to insurance. When long ships carried goods across rough seas, the risk of storms, pirates, or raids was very real. Traders would often pool resources to protect each other. If one ship was lost, everyone in the pool contributed silver to support the affected trader. This informal insurance system helped Viking commerce survive in dangerous conditions. It also encouraged more merchants to join trading voyages because the risk was shared. Some historians believe this is one of the earliest examples of maritime risk-sharing in European history, long before formal shipping insurance appeared in places like Genoa or Venice. Another fascinating part of the Viking system was the role of trust networks. Many Viking traders were linked by extended families, clans, or sworn brother relationships. These networks acted like credit unions. If one trader promised to pay silver in a distant location, the promise was backed by their family or group. Breaking that trust could lead to exile, punishment, or loss of reputation. In a world without written contracts or court systems, reputation was everything. This trust network allowed Vikings to conduct business across thousands of kilometers without ever meeting face to face. It also allowed them to avoid taxes imposed by kings who struggled to control such a fluid and decentralized trade web. The Viking black market network also grew because many kingdoms tried to restrict trade through taxes or laws. Vikings simply went around them. They sailed to undeveloped coastlines, used hidden river paths, and built temporary camps where they traded in secret. In many cases, they created parallel economies that were more efficient than official ones. This is why rulers in England, Francia, and the Baltic region struggled to stop Viking wealth. Their economies depended on fixed markets and tax systems, while Vikings moved freely and responded quickly to new opportunities. The more laws kings created, the more creative Viking traders became. This constant battle between control and freedom shaped much of medieval European commerce. By the end of the Viking Age, their financial network had transformed Northern Europe. It connected Scandinavia, the British Isles, the Baltic, Russia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. It blended different money systems, borrowing ideas from Arabic merchants, Byzantine traders, Slavic markets, and European towns. The Vikings absorbed concepts like credit, currency weighting, international trade routes, and risk distribution, but they did it on their own terms, keeping everything flexible and decentralized. Their network was not a bank in the modern sense, but it performed many banking functions, storing value, moving wealth, managing risk, and enforcing agreements. It was a shadow economy that allowed small groups of traders to move massive amounts of silver across thousands of kilometers without any government oversight. This hidden financial world is one of the most impressive parts of Viking history. It shows that behind the image of fierce warriors was a highly skilled group of merchants who understood global trade long before Europe developed formal banking. Their black market system helped shape early medieval economies, spread new ideas across continents, and connected distant cultures through silver and trust. As the video closes, remind viewers that history is not just about battles. It is also about ideas, systems, and human creativity. If you enjoyed this story and want more hidden finance history, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who love learning about the secret forces that shaped our world.